Hey everyone! Today we're tackling a question that affects millions of people's wallets every single year. Is owning a car actually cheaper than using public transport? Now, I know what you're thinking. You've probably done the quick math in your head, comparing a monthly transit pass to your car payment, and called it a day. But trust me, we're about to dig way deeper than that, and some of these numbers might actually shock you. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete picture of what these transportation choices really cost, and more importantly, you'll be able to figure out which option makes the most financial sense for your specific situation. So, let's break it down. Let's start with cars, because this is where things get interesting fast. Most people only think about the car payment and gas, but car ownership is like an iceberg. What you see on the surface is just the beginning. First, the obvious costs. The average new car in 2024 costs around $48,000. If you finance that with a typical 6-year loan at 7% interest, you're looking at about $780 per month. Used cars are obviously cheaper, let's say $25,000 for something reliable, which works out to around $415 per month. But here's where it gets real. Insurance. The average American pays $2,150 per year for full coverage. That's another $79 per month. And if you're under 25 or live in a major city, that number can easily double. Now let's talk about fuel. The average American drives about 13,500 miles per year. At 25 miles per gallon and $3.50 per gallon, that's $1,890 per year, or $158 per month. But wait, there's more. Maintenance and repairs, oil changes, tire rotations, new tires every few years, brake pads, unexpected repairs. AAA estimates this at about $1,200 per year, or $100 per month, and that's assuming nothing major goes wrong. Registration and fees, about $150 per year, depending on your state. Parking? If you live in a city and don't have free parking at home or work, this alone could run you $200 to $500 per month. We'll use $100 for occasional parking fees as a conservative estimate. Let's add it up for our hypothetical used car owner. $415 car payment, $179 insurance, $158 gas, $100 maintenance, $12 registration, $100 parking. That's $964 per month, or $11,568 per year. And here's the kicker. We haven't even talked about depreciation. Cars lose value the moment you drive them off the lot. The average vehicle loses about 20% of its value in the first year, and about 60% after 5 years. That's thousands of dollars evaporating from your net worth. Now let's look at public transport. This is going to seem refreshingly simple after that deep dive. A monthly unlimited metro pass in major cities typically costs between $80 and $130. Let's say $100 for a major metropolitan area. That's $1,200 per year. Done. Well, almost. You'll probably need the occasional rideshare or taxi for those late nights, emergencies, or trips where public transit doesn't quite work. Let's budget $100 per month, or $1,200 per year. Some people also need occasional car rentals for weekend trips or specific errands. Let's say you rent a car twice a month at $60 per day. That's $120 per month, or $1,240 per year. Total for public transport, $100 transit pass, $100 ride shares, $120 rentals. That's $320 per month, or $3,840 per year. Wait, did you catch that? $3,840 per year for public transport versus $11,568 for the used car. That's a difference of $7,728 per year. Or to put it another way, the public transport user is saving almost $650 every single month. But before all the car levers click away, we need to dig deeper because money isn't the only cost we need to consider. Here's where the calculation gets more nuanced. Let's talk about time. If your commute by car takes 30 minutes each way, but public transport takes an hour each way, you're spending an extra hour per day commuting. That's 5 hours per week, roughly 250 hours per year. Now, here's the question. What's your time worth? If you make $50,000 a year working 2,000 hours, your time is worth $25 per hour. Those 250 extra hours, that's $6,250 in opportunity cost. Suddenly, that $7,700 savings from public transport drops to about $1,450. Still a savings, but much less dramatic. But hold on, can you actually use that commute time productively? On public transport, many people work, read, study, or rest. You can't really do that while driving, so maybe that time isn't entirely lost. In fact, some people find their public transport commute to be valuable decompression or productivity time. And we should mention, sitting in traffic is time too. That 30-minute commute can easily become an hour during rush hour. Meanwhile, many cities have bus and train lanes that bypass traffic entirely. The time factor really depends on your specific situation. If you live in a city with efficient public transport, the time difference might be minimal. If you're in a suburban or a rural area with limited service, the car wins on time, hands down. This brings us to a crucial point. Geography completely changes this equation. If you live in New York City, Chicago, Boston, or San Francisco, public transport is extensive, reliable, and fast. A car might actually be slower and way more expensive when you factor in parking costs that can exceed $400 per month. But if you live in Houston, Phoenix, or most suburban areas, public transport might be limited or non-existent. Your choices might be own a car or don't go anywhere. In these cases, the comparison is moot because public transport isn't a viable option. There's also the lifestyle factor. Do you have kids, play sports that require equipment, have a job that requires you to transport things, need to make multiple stops efficiently? Cars offer flexibility that public transport simply can't match for certain lifestyles. On the flip side, if you're young, single, live and work in the urban core, and enjoy city life, public transport might not just be cheaper, it might actually enhance your lifestyle. No worrying about parking, you can read or work during your commute, and you never have to deal with maintenance headaches. Let's explore some alternative scenarios that might work better than an all-or-nothing approach. Scenario 1. Own an older, paid-off car. If you own your car outright, your costs drop dramatically. No $415 monthly payment. You're looking at insurance, gas, maintenance, and parking. That might be around $550 per month instead of $964. Suddenly, owning a car becomes much more competitive. Scenario 2. The hybrid approach. Use public transport for your daily commute, but keep a car for weekends and flexibility. Yes, you're paying for both, but maybe you can get by with just liability insurance and park the car on the street. This might cost you a $100 transit pass, $200 for car insurance, and occasional maintenance. That's still cheaper than driving daily. Scenario 3. Car sharing and bike combos. Many cities now have car share services like Zipcar. Combine this with a bike for short trips and public transport for longer ones. You might spend $150 per month total and have surprising flexibility. Scenario 4. The e-bike revolution. A quality e-bike costs $1,500 to $3,000. For many urban and suburban commuters within 10 miles of work, this could replace both a car and public transport for daily use. After the upfront cost, you're looking at maybe $20 per month in electricity and maintenance. For someone with a 5-mile commute, this could be a game changer. Now, we need to address the elephant in the room. We've been talking purely about money, but there are other costs worth considering. Environmental impact. A single passenger vehicle emits about 4.6 metric tons of CO2 per year. Public transport produces about 45% less carbon dioxide per passenger mile than private vehicles. If environmental impact matters to you, that's a significant point in favor of public transport. Health considerations. Walking to and from transit stops adds physical activity to your day. The average public transport commuter walks about 19 minutes per day as part of their commute. That's built-in exercise. Car commuters walk an average of 6 minutes. Over a year, that difference adds up to better cardiovascular health, weight management, and overall well-being. Stress levels. This one's mixed. Some people find driving stressful, especially in heavy traffic. Others find it relaxing and enjoy having their own space. Similarly, some people love the ability to zone out on public transport, while others find crowded trains or buses stressful. This is highly individual. So, what's the bottom line? Purely from a financial standpoint, public transport wins in most scenarios, potentially saving you $5,000 to $8,000 per year if you live somewhere with good transit infrastructure. That's not pocket change. That's a vacation, a substantial retirement contribution, or serious debt payoff every single year. But the real answer depends on your specific situation. Ask yourself, where do I live? How good is public transport? What's my commute like? What's my lifestyle? Do I have kids? What do I value? Time, money, flexibility, or environmental impact? For urban dwellers with good transit access, Public transport is almost certainly the better financial choice. For suburban and rural residents, a car is probably necessary. And for many people, some hybrid approach might be the sweet spot. Here's my challenge for you. Actually calculate your specific costs. Track your real spending for a month. Look up your local transit options. The answer might surprise you. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.